Hello, and welcome to the Leap Lounge podcast. I'm your host, Joan Russell, a change coach and transformation strategist here to help you turn life's big changes into powerful growth. The Leap Lounge is both an in person and online support squad for people ready to take bold leaps, whether in life, career, or purpose. If you're standing at the edge of something new and wondering, what's next? You're in the right place. Are you ready to leap into the unknown? Let's go. Hello, and welcome to the Leap Lounge podcast, episode number 2. I'm here with our guest, Rebecca Snowball. And Rebecca is a Leap Lounge member. In fact, she's one of our 10 founding members. So, welcome, Rebecca, to the podcast today.
Thank you so much, Joan. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you here because not only is she a member, she's our first leaper from the Leap Lounge. So I cannot wait to hear more about what you're doing right now. But first, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Absolutely. So, yeah, my name is Rebecca Snowball, and that is my real last name, which I just have to make fun of because people think I made it up because I'm a yoga teacher. And no, I was born with that name. I have been teaching yoga since the year 2000. It's a life journey, it's my passion. I love it so much. And I have 2 boys. Actually, they're men now. So I still call them my boys, but I have 2 sons that live in San Francisco, and I live with my husband here in Del Mar. And yeah, I have a passion for helping women 50 plus right now. I'm in this really amazing phase of life called midlife, and I love helping women to age strong, flexible, and fit so that we can look great and feel great as we live our great life.
So you leapt into doing your yoga, your passion, your business full time. Is that right?
That's right. I mean, all along, I have 2 memberships. I have a Vibrant Body membership and I have Arm Sculpt 50 Plus membership. And all this time since I moved down here, so my husband and I relocated from the Bay Area, California, almost 4 years ago now. And I had a thriving yoga business up in the Bay Area with private clients and group classes. And when COVID hit, we went online. I was already in the frame of mind to go online. So it was very seamless for me to bring everybody on board. And in 2020, the Vibrant Yoga Woman was born, and that has grown into the Vibrant Body membership. So the online program has been going on seamlessly on Zoom since then. Like, we are going strong, but it was not my bread and butter. So I needed to get a job when I moved down to Southern California. And so I found myself in a restaurant after decades of not doing that work. I'm really good at it, by the way. I got a restaurant job. And so here I am living by the beach, working in a restaurant. I felt like I was in my 20s again.
Oh, I resonate with that. Sometimes you need a bridge job in order to get stuff done when you're doing it part time and you got to pay the bills, y'all. When did you decide to take the leap into doing it full time?
I knew that the restaurant job would be temporary, and I thought it would be maybe a year, maybe 2, and it was literally coming up on 3 years. I think I just celebrated 3 years at the restaurant, and you started your Leap Lounge, and I came to the very first one, and it felt so great to be supported in the Leap Lounge with the other men and women who were there. I already knew that I wanted to quit my job, but I just wasn't sure when. So I was sort of like in that place in my mind, like, okay, this is going to happen. Maybe I'll wait. I'll go through the summertime. Maybe it'll be in the fall. But in my heart, I was ready. Like, I wanted to do it as soon as possible. And interestingly, having the first meeting that we had, I think there was maybe 6 or 7 of us there. And there was this feeling of knowing that I have this community of Leap Loungers, of the men and women in this group. Even though we'd only met for that first session, I could feel support that wasn't there prior. I mean, I
Yeah.
could just feel it. It was just different. There was a feeling like, I know that I can lean in to Joan. I know that I can lean in to this group and I can say, hey, this is what I'm doing. I'm going to quit my job. And this is how, I'm gonna need support, and the whole point of the Leap Lounge is people who are taking a leap, wanting to maybe leave their job or, something other for them, and knowing that that there's this pillar of support underneath them of the community. That's what I felt from it.
Awesome. And that's exactly what we're trying to do with the Leap Lounge for sure. That's really the whole premise. So, what was life like before you made your leap?
Before I made my leap, life was busy. Life was full. Life was going to the restaurant and working like, it's a challenging job. It's a big, like, there's a lot of physical work in that job. And there was also, for me, there was just unfortunately, there was a culture there that just wasn't supportive and for me. And that was hard to endure. I was also doing all of my classes in the morning. So we have 7 classes a week online, and I have 2 other teachers that teach for me, with me. So I teach 5 of them, and that's my passion work. That's easy to do, right? So in the morning, I'm doing that, and then I would go to work right afterwards, and I'd get home like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I would just basically melt into the couch. There was nothing else really going on there. Like, it would be even hard to go across the street and walk on the beach because I was just done. And so I was kind of drained before I took the leap.
Wow. Wow. And so, what helped you with that leap other than the Leap Lounge? Did you just come home and say, I'm going to do this? Or what did that process look like?
No, that's such a good question, actually, because very specifically, I remember talking to my husband. We're definitely a 2-income family. And I said, I really want to leave my job. And he knew it because he always gets to hear about I wanted to leave the job.
Yeah.
And I just said, I just feel like it's holding me back. The other thing is I travel to the Bay Area once a month. My mother is also in the Bay Area. My sons are in the Bay Area and my yoga community. And so I still keep that going because we see each other online, but we also see each other in person. And so once a month, I'll go back to teach. And fortunately, my managers at the restaurant were very just liberal with me and giving me that time off. But it felt like I wasn't sure if I was going to get the time off. I felt kind of like, there was this anchor here that was keeping me from just really being able to flow and be able to go. And I actually thought that I wanted to move back to the Bay Area.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because for me, it wasn't a super easy, like, oh my gosh, I mean, here we are in paradise. We live in Del Mar, California. And I'm just like, why am I not loving it? And it's family, of course. And my community felt like they were all back there. So I kept feeling a pull to go back, and we need to move back. And that was an interesting dynamic. And what I realized through this process of going back and forth and learning about myself, I didn't need to move back. I don't need to move back, but I need to be able to move freely from Southern California to Northern California and back, and whenever I want, and fly or drive or stay as long as I want. And with having an actual, job where I'm answering to somebody else and I'm on somebody else's schedule, I didn't feel that freedom.
Yeah.
And so I talked with my husband, and answer to your question, I said, let's really look at this. I really want to leave my job, but I really need to know that you are absolutely in support of it. Because if you're fearful that we're not going to have enough money, or, that this isn't the right time, I get that. And I want to do it when we both feel that the time is right. And so we talked it through, and he was like, I think this is the right time. I think it's holding you back. I think you need to do it.
I love your husband, and I don't even know him.
I love my husband too. He's great. I love him a lot.
So, what helped you along the way with doing this? Like self-trust, you mentioned the Leap Lounge community, you've mentioned your husband. What else has helped you out with going through this kind of scary process?
Yeah, it is a scary process. And I think so much of it is mindset, and so much of it is belief, like believing in yourself and believing in your dream. And confidence. I lost my confidence when I came down here, and it was a combination of things that I won't get into right now unless you want me to. But it was like, I was always a very confident person, and I go for what I want. But there was something that was just shift. It was probably the shift of moving. I mean, it's a big transition, and I didn't believe in myself as much. And so I really think that that's part of it. And listening, honestly, I listened to Joe Dispenza, love him. And also other mindset where, you're really focusing on what you want, and you're not letting yourself go down the doubt path and the what if path and the fear path. Of course, we're going to have fear, and facing those fears is important. It's not like we're trying to push away emotions, because we all have the full spectrum of emotions, and they're not wrong. But it was just this sense of like really seeing what I wanted for myself and believing in it and taking action. And even imperfect action, which I just did. I just took totally imperfect action last week. I launched Messy for my membership. And I still had members come in, new
Yeah.
members come
Yeah.
in, so I think it is about really believing in myself and yeah, did I answer that question fully?
You did. You did. And I loved what you said. There were a lot of good takeaways there. And I'd love to hear more about how you regained some confidence there.
Mm.
But also what you said about taking imperfect, kind of messy action, because I think the whole premise of actually taking this leap and how you can do it is, once again, that faith piece, the confidence piece can come later because it's the action, it's making a decision and then getting into action. You made the decision to do it, and then you got into action. Whether it was perfect or not, you just went. And along the way, you start to regain that confidence and you start to learn more and you grow more through it. I'd like to hear a little bit more. Was there any one thing that really helped you with the confidence piece?
Well, I wanted to speak for a second on the action piece because there's
Mhm.
so many people I know that are waiting for the right moment, or they're waiting for everything to be ready, or
Yes.
they're waiting to, to dot all the I's and cross all the T's and then I'll go. And then, a year goes by or something happens and it's so frustrating because they don't ever take the action. And the action breeds clarity.
Yes.
You get so much clarity from taking action. It's amazing. It's mind blowing. And then you can reassess and take the action that you want to take again
Yeah.
the next time with making these certain tweaks and such. So, yeah, taking action is just gives you information. It gives you data. It just gives you information. And it's so great. The confidence piece. That's a good question. Um, wow, what helped me with the confidence piece? I think it was literally some of the mirror work that I did way back when with Louise Hay. Louise
The
Hay.
godmother, the OG. Yeah.
Yes, she
When it
is.
comes to affirmations and anything, check her out. You can heal your life. That's all I have to say. I recommend that book way too many times.
It's so good. And it came out when came out probably before I was 18, but it landed in my hands when I was 18 years old. And I had this book, and it's been with me throughout my life. And you look in the mirror and you say to yourself, I love you. And some people can't. And if you are one of them and you're looking in the mirror and you do it and you get to tears or you can't look, you just keep coming back. You just keep coming back and you keep generating self-love, love for yourself, pulling it back to yourself. And I think the other thing that really helped me with the confidence is knowing why I'm doing what I'm doing. I am doing this to help other women who are struggling with their confidence in midlife, who are struggling with their bodies in midlife. Like so much changes in midlife, and I hope there's a lot of midlife women listening to this because we know it. And in my 40s, I didn't even really listen to people talking about it 'cause it's like I wasn't there yet. But when you're actually going through it, there's all of the, certain menopausal symptoms and stuff like that. Fortunately, I didn't have a horrible experience with that. Some people do. But there's also just like that was where I think some of the lack of confidence came from. It's like, wow, you're changing. There's so many changes going on. Your skin changes, your body changes, and you start to feel, I don't know, I started to feel like a little bit more invisible. People don't look at you the same way as they used to. There's so much focus in our society about looks and youth and all of this stuff. And fortunately, we're also in a time where I think midlife is being celebrated way, way more, don't you think?
Agreed, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. But so it was really up to me, and I think the work that I do in with yoga and with arm sculpting and, lifting weights. I do an arm sculpting because it's the easiest way for women to pick up weights and start feeling their power. You don't have to go to the gym and do like this whole hour workout. You don't have to go into a hot, sweaty yoga class and try to do these pretzel moves. You just show up and you start. And that is so empowering. I was literally talking to my girlfriend the other day. She's 74, and she was talking about how empowering it is for her when she started lifting weights. And it's really important as our aging process because we lose muscle mass, we lose muscle tone just because of the aging process. It has a name. It's called sarcopenia. What can we do? We can reverse it. We start strengthening our muscles, picking up the weight, and it's really good for osteoporosis and all these different things. So I think when I really start to understand and remember, I am doing this to help other women feel and look great and embrace this time in their lives that there's so much good going on for us. Like we don't have as much insecurity, we don't have a lot of the same fears that we used to, and we're ready to just move forward. Like we know that we can. There's a lot of confidence that we have from being in midlife. So it's like just stepping back into that and remembering I'm here to help other women.
I Knowing your why, so important. If you don't know your why, you don't know what direction you're going to go in. And that's used as an anchor to help you as you get through the process of not just leaping, but as you keep moving forward when it comes to your business, because this ain't all easy sunshine, rainbows, puppy dogs. It's not the easiest thing on earth to do. It's scary, like we talked about, and it challenges you every day. It does me anyway. So I'd really like to know, now that you've made this leap, what are your next steps with your business and with your life?
Well, that's really a great question as well. It's been so liberating to be able to, like I said, go to the Bay Area and be like, I could stay here all week. So my mom lives in Santa Cruz, and she has this little room that was like, it was kind of like a art room slash throw everything in their room. And I was like, Mom, you know what? I would really love to make that like a room where I could teach the yoga. So I just need a clear wall behind me. And so I spent time just completely organizing her stuff and moving it. And I'm going to paint that wall. My wall down here, I want to paint. Like I want to up level what I am doing online. And it's so interesting because now that I made the leap and, I haven't been at my job now for about over 2 weeks, it's feeling, I know,
Time to say that's a celebration right
woo,
there.
woo. And it's really interesting because you're used to doing this thing, but it's not like I have missed it, but it's giving me the time that didn't even know how much I needed to really focus fully on what I want to create. And it's opening up my creative energy. The things
Yeah.
that I see for like, the background of my Zooms and, like I said, painting the walls, and looking ahead at what are my next steps as far as continue to welcome members. So my mini goal is to get to my first 100 women.
Your first 100? Yeah. How are you going to celebrate that when you have it?
Ooh, good question. I don't know. How should I celebrate?
You'll find something amazing. But now I've planted that seed in your head and you're going to think about it and you come back to me and let me know because I want to put that in the show notes.
That would be really fun. It'll be fun if I could come back too
Yeah,
and be on the podcast afterwards.
yeah. Follow up.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the part too. Like when we're in person doing yoga together, we try to gather either right in the room afterwards for tea and like a little breakfast because community is such a big part of what we do. And I love to facilitate community. And I've noticed, especially being new to this area, you really have to take action to create community if it's not built in for you because you grew up with a lot of other people in the same area. And that was part of me going to the Leap Lounge. It's like, I want to get to know Joan. I want to get to know her community, now our community. And community is available out there for us. Yeah, I think that community piece is really important. And celebrating, when you talk about the celebrating, I could see us doing a celebration in person.
Absolutely.
And a celebration online.
I need you to come up with what that looks like for you with how you want to celebrate your first 100 women.
I'm going to do it. I'm excited.
So you're commuting back and forth. You've got like your backdrop for your Zoom sessions and everything at both locations. And you're really starting to feel a lot more liberated, it sounds.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. A lot more liberated and a lot more like focused. Yeah.
Sweet. Okay. So thinking about our audience today, is there anything that you'd like to share with their audience that we haven't touched on at all today?
Well, talk to me for a moment about your audience. Tell me who is listening. Like, who are the people that are listening, do you think, to the Leap Lounge?
That's a great question because it's only our second podcast. So we don't really have a demographic for the Leap Lounge yet on podcast. In person, I've found it to be pretty much 18 to 80. We're finding people from all walks of life, whether they want to make a change in their jobs, their career. If they want to, we have people who are retired and looking for love. We have people who want to create clean water in India. We've got people who are trying to make leaps into careers just like you are and just like I did when I left my corporate job. We've got people who've been laid off and are trying to figure out what's next. So I would love to say we have one solid demographic, but we don't. We have people who want to figure out what's next.
I think, too, that's interesting because I think you have the psychographic, right? You have the people who have something going on in their life and they were wanting to make this shift, wanting to make this change. And I would say that, you're not going to have it all figured out. It's just not going to be all figured out. It's just when you know that you want to make a change and you want to make a big leap or even a small leap, is about really looking into what does that life look like like your future self after you've taken the leap, like taking time to dream into what does my life look like? Like for me, when I'm not going to the restaurant every day, when I'm not drained after work and all I want to do is melt into the couch, I have energy. I have more time. I have more time to create. So when you see yourself, like, why do you want to take your leap? We talked about the big why. And I do believe that your leap has to do with who you're here to serve. And if you can get to that part of it and keep asking why, like, okay, why do I want to leave this job? Oh, because I want more freedom, or because I want more money, or because I want to do what I really want to do, my creativity. And then you can even ask yourself after that, and why do I want that? And you'll get more answers and write them down and journal about them. And then you can ask that, and why do I want that? And you can keep keeping deeper and deeper. And along the way, asking yourself, and who is with me? And who is there with me? And who am I helping? And when you start to attach your dream and your passion to how you are helping even one other person, it starts to take on an energy of its own. And I would just say also that you're not going to have it all figured out. It's scary to leave something behind, but there's a reason why you want to leave it behind. And there's something that is calling you. It's like a calling. And I just think that support having something like the Leap Lounge, and if you're local and you can come to the group that we have here in San Diego County, then find a group like that or come to the Leap Lounge, because it's the group that's leaping. But having group support, it's immeasurable, wouldn't you say?
I think it's invaluable, because you need to have that support squad. You can't do it alone. I mean, I can't tell you how many groups I've started and how many groups I'm a member of as well. That networking piece is so important, but you also need to have people who are doing the things that you only dream of doing, so that way you've got inspiration and you've got motivation going on, as well as people who can catch you. When you leap, the net appears, but sometimes pre-building that net really helps with it, because that makes you feel more confident in what your next step is. I love what you said there. The only thing I would want to add, other than the visualization part, is so huge, and building the visualization as well. And also, when you think about your future self, after you've made a leap, you wind up becoming a different person. And sometimes that means that you need to really step out of your comfort zone. So thinking about who you want to be after you leap, and as you leap, becoming that person, that's really, really key and super helpful, because you're going to be different. Like it or not.
It's so true. It's so true. And the other part too that we can't see and that we don't know is what doors open up for you after you leave. Like now here I am doing a podcast with you in this awesome podcast studio, and, one of my neighbors wants private yoga, and I'm going to see him later for that. I have an interview for a yoga job tomorrow. That's a virtual, it's going to be like a part-time thing, but it's like all of these doors were opening, and I didn't even realize, I feel like before I took the leap, I was actually holding the door shut. And I didn't realize that I was doing that until I left. And now I can really see how many ways having that job, which was my security, it was my little security blanket, it brought in a really good income, how much that was holding me back from what I'm really here to do and live my dream and use my gifts and my talents. And it's just like, wow, and that was an old version of myself as well, because I grew up in the restaurant world, in the restaurant business. I met my husband in the restaurant business. My husband's still in the restaurant business. It's a great business. But it's interesting that it was a comfort thing, and it was almost like a regression? Back to something that I knew that I could do. And then it was like, wow. And like I said, I can't believe it took me 3 years. And that's okay. There's no reason to judge that. It was there for me. I'm grateful for what it did for me. Yeah. And now I'm into this new chapter, and it's feeling really good.
I love all of that, especially with going backwards kind of to go forwards. It turns into a slingshot.
Good point.
Yeah. Like that. So before we close things down, and by the way, I want to say a big thank you, because she mentioned this podcast studio that we're in right now. A big thank you to the Better Business Bureau here in San Diego for providing it. And this is one of the many benefits you get from being an accredited Better Business Bureau member. My business is an A+ accredited Better Business Bureau group member. So we get to have this beautiful podcast studio along with our membership fees. It's awesome. Okay, so just in parting, what is one word or phrase that what is one word or phrase that you would like to share with others who are scared to take their leap?
One word or phrase. I'm not going to use the Nike one, just do it, because you know what? There's more to it than that. There really is. Just do it can be irresponsible. It can feel irresponsible. Um, what I would say, one word or phrase, believe in yourself, make an exit strategy. If it's like leaving a job, that's what I would say is like, look at the A to B. If you have 90 days or if it's 6 months, where do you want to be 6 months from now? And write it down. And that's not one word or phrase. So my one word or phrase is,
Good advice, though.
yeah, believe in yourself, dream into your future self who's taken that leap, and spend time with her or him, like envisioning who that is. How are you when you're in that leap, when you've taken the leap? Become the person that's in the future that took the leap. What is she doing? How is she acting? What is your personality like? So again, that's not one phrase or word, but you
We're
don't
going to
get
go
one
with
phrase.
believe in yourself.
Believe in yourself.
Thank you so much for being here with me today, Rebecca. Information about Rebecca and her business will be in the show notes. And thank you. I can't wait to celebrate when you hit 100 clients.
It's going to be so fun.
Thank you for listening to the Leap Lounge podcast. Once again, I'm Joan Russell, Rebecca Snowball, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us at the Leap Lounge today. Please be sure to like and follow us. To find out more about the Leap Lounge, visit us online. Go to theleaplounge.com. Have a great day. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.